I used to think the worst thing in life was to end up alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone. Robin Williams. Hey everyone. Sorry I've been away for so long. I recently returned from a multi-week cross-country road trip. In addition to seeing the country, I got the opportunity to reconnect with friends and spend time with loved ones along the way. I even visited southern Dageshitistan and barely got out in time to avoid the typhus epidemic outbreak there. While the trip has been an amazing mental break and provided me a much-needed recharge, it got me thinking about MGTOW and what it means to go one's own way. MGTOW philosophy in a nutshell is the adoption of a lifestyle that avoids marriage and any relationship that could be legally defined as marriage, such as common law marriage determinations arising from cohabitation with a woman. However, nowhere in the philosophy does avoiding marital relationships mean that one should hate women. Also, avoiding marital relationships doesn't necessitate avoiding women. Avoiding marital relationships doesn't require avoiding friendships with women either. There are men going their own way who date women. Some of these men are even in monogamous committed relationships with these women. However, they understandably don't cohabitate with them. Yet, there are many men who wrongfully think that avoiding marriage and avoiding marital relationships with women means that one should hate and avoid women at every turn. At best, this is misguided. Feminist ideology, supported and reinforced by both communist and socialist ideology, destroyed the social contract between men and women. Not women. More importantly, some MGTOW men online shame other men for going their own way differently than they themselves do. For example, some MGTOW men have chosen to be monks. That is, they avoid all romantic interactions completely, whether with another woman, man, or assistive devices such as love dolls or other forms of sexual self-gratification. Some of these so-called monks shame other men for fulfilling their sexual needs. Now, this is not all monks or just monks who shame men who make these choices. There are others in the community committed to shaming men going their own way as well. These men aren't fostering MGTOW philosophy. They're fostering a cult of personality around themselves. These men are so committed to shaming and silencing their brothers going their own way, they've even falsely accused other men of being sex criminals and dishonestly labeling these men as degenerate, knowing full well their claims are nothing but easily debunkable lies. Upon closer inspection, one cannot help but realize that these men are jealous of their chosen targets and are desperately attempting to grow their online brands by creating unnecessary drama and strife in order to profit from it. Like I said, desperate. After watching their videos and reading their online posts, it's easy to see that they don't really care about other men at all, because their focus isn't on the betterment of their brothers. Their attention is exclusively focused on separating men from their money and tearing their brothers down, regardless of the cost. Further, you'll notice that, outside of shaming others, these men have very little, if any, original content in their videos and online posts. They just bitch. As a final comment on drama spurgs, they should know that most MGTOW are immune to shaming language. Yet, these online personalities continue to attempt to shame men going their own way anyway. Only blue-pilled men live their lives based on what others think of them. Men going their own way give zero fucks what bitches think of them, whether the bitches in question are male, female, or attack helicopters. Bitches who focus on defrauding and tearing other men down are to be avoided. The only thing achieved in involving oneself in unnecessary drama is more drama, and the only people who profit from it are the bitches themselves. The sole exception to this is to debunk lies and to demonstrate these liars aren't credible. Now, let's move on and talk about another issue that is often avoided by the online MGTOW community. It's my view that too many men wrongfully think that avoiding marital relationships means one should practice social isolation. This is a position that has been adopted by far too many in the MGTOW community. Social isolation is both physically and mentally unhealthy. According to Time magazine, 1 in 3 older adults is lonely and socially isolated. Further, when people are socially isolated, Psychology Today states the brain will actually manufacture hallucinations of social experiences. Mental Health Connecticut, in an online article published on September 1st, 2017, states, "It's no secret that isolation can lead to a decline in physical health. Studies show that a lack of social connections can increase the risk of death by at least 50%, while in some cases, isolation can increase the risk of mortality by more than 90%. Furthermore, social isolation has been linked to higher blood pressure and cardiovascular disease, vulnerability to infection, and an overactive immune response. Loneliness can affect your mental and emotional health as well as your physical well-being. Without enough social interaction, you may be at risk of cognitive decline, the onset of Alzheimer's disease or dementia, depression, neuroticism, hallucinations. Social isolation can also get in the way of everyday functioning. It can throw off sleep patterns, disrupt focus, and affect both logical and verbal reasoning. So, as a man going your own way, how do you avoid the mental and physical risks associated with social isolation? Well, according to the Dayton Daily News, you should seek out like-minded people. Put yourself in situations where you are likely to interact with people who share your values and interests. Interact with family and friends. Make it a point to have meaningful conversations with loved ones and friends as often as possible. Avoid prioritizing activities in life at the cost of real social connections. Consider a social media cleanse. If your digital life has overtaken face-to-face interactions, consider taking a break from social media while taking proactive steps to meet people in person. You can have hundreds of connections on Facebook or LinkedIn and still be lonely. To me, all these steps seem like viable solutions to the social isolation that affects far too many men. To reiterate, the point is to avoid social isolation because, given enough time, social isolation will kill you as surely as any chronic disease. Humans are social animals and need social connections in order to be healthy. Without them, we die a whole lot sooner than we would otherwise. Even though there's a womens'health.gov, there is no mens'health.gov. Therefore, we, as men, need to take care of ourselves and those men around us, because if we don't, no one else will, and good men will die because of it. Years ago, I remember reading an old martial arts magazine about an old kung fu artist. Every year for his birthday, he learned a new skill. The year the article was published, he was over 100 years old, and he learned to use the bullwhip. Many men could take a page from this old school master's book and teach themselves a new skill every year of their lives. Knowledge gives meaning and keeps the mind both active and healthy. In addition to that, ask yourself, what are your interests? And then join local groups surrounding those interests. The website meetup.com was specifically designed to get people together around common interests in their local area, whether they be religious beliefs, politics, business networking, or even extracurricular activities such as baseball, hiking, and many others. It's an option that if you're socially isolated, you may want to check out. To reiterate my previous comments, as a man going your own way, what you shouldn't do is feed into unnecessary drama like a bitch. It also means ignoring attempts by others to shame you, whether they may be drama bitches within the MGTOW community or haters from the outside. They can go play hide and go fuck themselves. This is your life, not theirs. As long as you're not hurting or defrauding anyone, live it however you want. You so thirsty for women that you'll bang traps who pretend to be women? That's okay. Take that pegging, embrace that pipe, and drain it down to the last drop. I won't shame you for being as queer as a $3 bill. If you've sworn off women completely and decided to get a love doll from the dollhouse, or anywhere else for that matter, use that doll and you do you. Literally. It's all good. If you're still dating women but avoiding marriage and cohabitation, go for it. Just understand that you're risking false allegations of DV, sexual assault, and entrapment with a child. And if you decide to go monk or no-fap, go for it. There are many ways for a man to go his own way. The point is to live your life and go your way, not anyone else's. It's your life. Live it in your own way. I'm DDJ, and this has been your dose of misandry today.